There's a lot of top performances, but here's my top 6 from the previous weekend. Number 1, I got to keep it in LA. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. 5th-year starting quarterback is thriving. And let's just be clear, after we saw his performance against 2 ranked teams, most notably Utah this past weekend, he is not a quarterback that is up and down. If anything, he's only up. And to me, he's Heisman candidacy candidate up. And you look at him since 2020. He's a guy who started as a true freshman, as a sophomore. When you look at his 3rd year to now, 68 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. This season, completing 75% of his passes, and they're not all checkdowns, and he's doing it with his legs. He's doing it by manipulating defenders with his eyes. He is playing at an elite level. They got a bye week, and we all know what's coming up next in Eugene. Coming out last weekend, easily top performer of the weekend. Number 2, I'm going to keep it in LA and keep it in Westwood. It's Zach Charbonnet. Look, I think he's the best running back on the West Coast. You could argue he's the best running back in America, and I think he's the surest thing at that position in the NFL. He's the top 4 practice player I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about Reggie Bush, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian McCaffrey, Zach Charbonnet. That category, when you watch him on the practice field, he takes care of every little detail, always finishing in the end zone, and it carries over to the game. Almost 200 yards against Utah's defensive front. And historically, Utah's always been a lead on their defensive front. I thought they'd have the best defense in the Pac-12 coming into the season. Did not anticipate Charbonnet going for almost 200 yards, but he did just that. There were big plays, there were explosive plays, there were physical plays, there were plays out of the backfield. Look, Zach Charbonnet is one of the most elite players in America, and it's time we continue or start talking about him in such manner. Number 3, look, I'm a former walk-on. Who doesn't love a walk-on story? How about Arizona State? Trenton Bourguet, former walk-on, earned a scholarship, did it the hard way, and I firmly believe it's much more challenging to earn a scholarship in college than it is to be offered one when you're in high school. He had many opportunities to leave. He could have hung his head when transfers came in, but he continued to compete. And you go watch that game since he got in, completed some challenging balls down the field. His leadership, his mannerisms, the little things that he did on the sideline, keeping guys up when the game was tight. And then how about his post-game interview? Absolutely slayed it with Ashley Adamson. So big fan, Trenton Bourguet. Congratulations. You got a bye week. I tell you to enjoy it all, but I know you're already back at work. Number 4, saw this one in person in Arizona, Bo Nix and his offensive line. Look, I know what week 1 was, 49-3 against Georgia, but I also know what week 2 through week 6 has been for the Oregon Ducks. To me, they're playing as well as anyone in this league, and they are continually just ascending offensively. Bo Nix, legit Heisman candidate. This offensive line, one of the best I've seen in the last 5 years in this league. They're athletic. They move defensive fronts. The creativity from Dan Lanning, his staff, and Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator, is as enjoyable to watch as there is in the league. And for DCs, I know it's probably miserable to watch, but you got to prepare for it because they come at you in so many ways. And how about Bo Nix, man? 20 of 25, 265 passing, ran for 70, 3 touchdowns. All he does is operate with mastery. One of the most impressive things I saw over the weekend. Number 5, I'm going to keep it with Oregon. Christian Gonzalez and the secondary. They entered the game against Arizona in front of a sold-out crowd, having to slow down or stop one of the best passing offenses in the Pac-12. Jane DeLora playing at an all-conference level coming into the game. Jacob Cowing looking like a first-team wide receiver. And Christian Gonzalez played man-to-man for the majority of that ball game when it was a ball game, and he had the most complete game of his career. The secondary entered that game as 12th in the Pac-12 in pass defense and 119th in the nation. They rose up to the challenge. I think this team, yes, week 1 was not what anyone anticipated in Eugene, but man, if they keep this trend going, would not be shocked to see Oregon back in Las Vegas in the title game. And a big reason will be the growth of their back end, led by Christian Gonzalez. Number 6, this one was hard for me to choose. There was a lot of different individuals and groups when you go back and watch tape, but how don't you put on Tre'Shaun Harrison? That play is going to go down in history for Oregon State as one of the most unique, explosive, entertaining plays of all time. Here we are, we're thinking the game is over, 24 seconds left on the clock, going to need a relative miracle, and that's exactly what they got. But look, you got to execute. Tre'Shaun Harrison, the crazy catch off the helmet of the Stanford defender, races in the end zone. And if there's one thing Harrison's been all season, he's shown up when the team has needed a big play, whether it's Fresno State or this ball game. He's got the Beavs closer to bowl eligibility for the second time in 2 years.